let's get back to this topic that I thought was wild interesting. Okay, so Brian Brzee is number 1 player in the country at his position. Myles Murphy is the number 7 player in the country at his position. Both play defensive line. DJ Uiagalelei is a number 10 overall player in the country at quarterback. And then DeMarcus Bowen was a number 20 overall player in the country at running back. And then Trenton Simmons was number 26 overall in the country at linebacker. So as the folks at 247 have pointed out, Brzee is as advertised, as is Myles Murphy. Matter of fact, Dabo Swinney went out of his way to say both of these dudes can absolutely positively play ball, which is wild, right? Because at 6'5", 265, and an edge dude, you can see how Myles Murphy impacts your defense. But Brzee, 6'5", 290, and such wiggle that he can play running back, he's going to be an immediate impact player. And Brzee, like Uiagalelei, was on campus in January to help Clemson prepare for LSU. Didn't help a lot because they lost 42-25. But you get the point there. With the early enrolling of guys like Brzee, expect them to play early and often in this 9+1 schedule that the ACC is playing. Matter of fact, Swinney's quote about Brzee is, he's probably better than advertised if I'm going to be honest with you. He's made huge strides. Same thing for Myles Murphy. I think those two guys just make you better the moment they step onto the field. For a defensive line that 2 years ago had all 4 of its starters drafted into the NFL, 3 in the first round, if I'm not mistaken, and Christian Wilkins, Dexter Lawrence, right? I think Austin Bryant was like a 13th overall, like second round, third round pick, if I'm getting that correct. Goodness me. And then you're asking these dudes to come in and play right away, and they can. Add to that, Uiagalelei is the heir apparent to Trevor Lawrence. And yeah, he's going to sit this year because Trevor Lawrence is the starting quarterback. But he's supremely talented. And he's also enormous. About as big as Myles Murphy. He's got a tremendous fastball. Coming out of St. John Bosco, he was throwing 95 on the mound. There were conversations about whether or not he would play both sports as a true freshman. He's going to stick to football to start. And then we'll see how it goes. But the quote from Tony Elliott, offensive coordinator at Clemson, is he as good as some others that he has on the depth chart? And he says, it's a tough question, but it's cut from the same cloth. They share the same demeanor, poised, and command. Nothing is overwhelming. They are similar from their protection standpoint. They both have a very good foundation, very well coached coming out of high school. And then DeMarcus Bowman at tailback is going to be the third string tailback in what I think is an outstanding backfield. Travis Etienne is number 1. Then Lynn J. Dixon, who averaged 6.1 yards per carry. Then DeMarcus Bowman, who might be one of the supreme X factors in all of college football. The quote from Tony Elliott, who recruited him to tailback, says, DeMarcus is as advertised, running with the ball. He's got the juice in his legs. He can really, really go. The biggest thing is you go back and watch him in high school and you understand the program he came from. Kind of a totally different philosophy. They were huddle, slow pace, quarterback ran on the sidelines. Look, the biggest thing for him right now is getting adjusted to the communication of the play call. But he understands football. He's got a great understanding. DeMarcus Bowman is next. As I look around the country and I look at the tailback position, I really do wish that it had more value than it does right now. Because with Bijan Robinson at Texas, I know that dude's a hitter. With, again, Bowman at Clemson, I know that dude's a hitter. Seth McGowan at Oklahoma, I know that dude is a hitter. Trey Sanders at Alabama, absolute monster waiting. Friggin' Kenny McIntosh, right? I know he's a hitter. Kendall Milton, I know he's a hitter. The number of dudes that absolutely could positively play running back in college football right now is staggering. And that's before we start talking about kids in the Big Ten or in the Pac-12. I'm really excited to see these dudes. But on the defense side of the ball, Trenton Simmons might be the heir apparent to one, yes, Isaiah Simmons. Talking about how he plays the Sam linebacker position, Jamie Scalzi, had this to say. he got a pick today in practice, right? Made a great play today. Freaky talented guy. People don't know, man. The guy was a running back in high school. He's only been playing linebacker for a year. He's got all the talent in the world. Playing under a guy like Coach Venables, there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to be an All-American one day. Still growing, still coming into his shell, but he's figuring it out quickly. One thing I know about Brent Venables is that man's front seven is going to be elite every single time. It's just going to be outstanding. And to have a guy like Trenton Simmons that you can look to try to give you some of what Isaiah Simmons had, expect Clemson to be right there in the ACC championship game again. Expect them to be in the college football playoff again. Expect them to compete for a national championship game again. Oh, Corey Harden coming in here with the $10 super chat. Appreciate this. Love the channel, RJ. I just watched your video about the B1G. Hopefully they will figure something out. I have never seen the live show. Figured I'd check it out. OH. IO. Thank you, Corey. I appreciate you, homie. Like, this is the fun of doing the live show for me, is I get to participate with the folks that can show up in the chat and the folks that are actually here to talk about some college football. And, we get into race. We'll do that. I need to just do another race segment because I've got so many questions about this that I need to entertain. Let me see. If we have questions in the chat, one of the reasons that I love doing it. So if you have questions, drop them in there. Laurel, she's in the chat. That pillow was an epic birthday gift from someone awesome. So that pillow behind me, that's from my girlfriend. She got it for me for my birthday. And you can see that I'm laying on her chest in between her thighs on the pillow. That's the story of the pillow. Like, I'm watching college football on TV while she's half naked and cradle me in her arms. It's a wild, awesome picture. All right, let's see. College football starts September 5th. No, college football starts tomorrow night, August 29th. Central Arkansas versus Austin Peay, the number 11 team versus number 13 team in FCS. I made a preview about it. It's on this channel. I made a 20-minute preview about FCS football. So when everybody wants to tell you that RJ only talks about OU, Ohio State, LSU, Georgia, whatever it is, friggin' Coastal Carolina, you show them. I made a preview video where I actually talked to an FCS insider about UCA and about Austin Peay because I'm that amped that we get to talk about this stuff in a meaningful way. If they're going to play football, I'm going to be around to watch football, talk football. I can't wait to get this one on and popping. Let's see. Is OU going to get Egbuka or come on a visit? I think a visit is highly likely. I don't think that a commitment is. I think right now he wants to get to Oklahoma. He wants to bring one of his parents to Oklahoma. He wants to take it all in. And if Dennis Simmons can talk him into a commitment, kudos to him because he certainly got the receipts, right? 2 first-round draft picks in the past 2 years in CeeDee Lamb and Marquise Brown. Add to that a Biletnikoff Award winner in D.D. Westbrook in 2016 and a Heisman finalist in D.D. Westbrook in 2016. That's just in the past 4 years. Now, take a look at what Ohio State has to offer. Now, the first-round draft picks since 2007 have been underperforming at the wide receiver position in such a way that Michael Thomas is the best wide receiver in the NFL, second-round pick out of Ohio State. Take a look at Terry McLaurin, another dude that was undervalued that is expected to have a breakout year for the Washington NFL team. Take a look at KJ Hill, a dude that I thought was going to be perhaps a first-round draft pick at the start of last year, who's a seventh-round draft pick. They just haven't done what they need to do. Brian Hartline knows this as much as anybody else. He's hoping to change that with guys like Chris Olave, but if they don't get to play football, it's going to be difficult to see that happen, right? Meanwhile, Garrett Wilson is coming on. Mookie Cooper is coming on. Jackson Smith and Jigba is coming on. The same thing goes with Julian Fleming, who's going to be outstanding as soon as he gets to touch the ball. Egbuka joining that makes them that much better. But Egbuka also knows that Lincoln Riley and the Oklahoma offense have been putting up number after number after number after number every single year. Outstanding offensively. Outstanding at putting the ball in the end zone. And your wide receivers are consistently performing at a high end. Sterling Shepard comes out of Oklahoma and the Dennis Simmons tree. They just pump him out. It'll be interesting. If they get him on the campus, which I do think is highly likely, I think you could probably see a 2-horse race between Ohio State and Oklahoma, even as Egbuka is still very much entertaining Washington and Clemson, of course. So that I hope is a good answer to your question.